So, regardless of how the director interprets the thematic structure of the play and the motifs and the symbols which communicate those themes to the audience, or to the reader in this case, their job is to then take that interpretation, that lens, that matrix through which everything is seen, and to funnel the work of the entire production team through it. So, for example, they have to work with the actors. They have to give the actors their help the actors to find their character, to find this sort of emotional tenor and the psychological structure of the people that they're playing. They have to help build tempo and arc into the play, and to help the actors interpret the lines in the way that the characters interrelate, and the background of those characters, where they come from, what worlds they come from, the world of the play at large, etc. But they also have to help block the actors, which means to quite literally move them around the stage. Now, the stage, the closest part to the audience, is called downstage, the furthest part called upstage. Again, I know we talked about this a little bit before, but the reason for that is because at one point all stages were raked, which means that they were a platform that was actually higher in the back than in the front. So as you moved away from the audience, you literally moved upstage. The director also used terminology for consistency's sake that's always from the actor's perspective. So when we say stage right, we're talking about the right from the actor. So if you're looking at the stage from the house, it's to your left, but to the actor's right. And they move the actors around the stage to help strengthen the conventions that they're using, to help strengthen the narrative, the story, the plot that they're creating, to show the relationships, but also to direct the audience's focus. You know, in a film director gets to tell you exactly where to look, when to look there, and for how long. You have no choice, right? Because the camera tells you exactly where to look. But on the stage, you can decide to look anywhere, which is, again, one of the exciting things about the theater, is that you have an active role. You can do pretty much whatever you want. As you'll see in Festen, you can tell where the director wants you to focus, but you can choose to look elsewhere. And it's the sign of a good actor, whether or not they stay in the moment. When you look away, whether or not that actor that's off in the corner is actually having an experience that's relevant to the play or not. But so the director has all these jobs as they move the actors around the stage, the narrative, the relationships, the focus, and there's also technical considerations. Where is the light on stage? How do I get the actors in the right light after the lighting has been set? And what are the sight lines in the house like? There are all different configurations of audience to stage, which we've discussed a little bit already, right? There's the thrust, which is audience on three sides. Traditional proscenium picture frame, which is the audience on one side. There's arena, theater in the round, which is the audience on all sides. And all of these have different considerations for staging in order that as many people as possible can see the actors at any given time. So the director has all of those jobs just with the actors. And then beyond that, the director works with the costume designer to make sure that the choices being made by the costume designer in two ways are working to develop and maintain and create convention around the themes, the motifs, and the symbols as seen through the matrix of the director. So the costumes need to practically work for the play. They need to work in terms of the cultural background, the period of time in which the play is set, things like the temperature, the time of day or night, the social class of the characters, etc., etc., etc. And then the artistic vision of the play. So there may be a lot of just artistic, abstract ideas that are being expressed through the costuming. But again, the costume designer's work is funneled through that matrix of the director so that everything is a unified idea. Similar with lighting. The lighting designer's job basically is to create a series of washes over the whole stage that have, a few different looks. So one might be warmer with more reds, one might be cooler with more blues, but generally the job is to light the stage so that we can see what's happening and to create some kind of mood. And then there's specials that the designer creates as well, so that small areas of the stage can be lit at any given time. Just like with the costume designer, the lighting designer has practical considerations and considerations of convention, theatrical considerations, all which must be funneled again through that central matrix of the director. Of course, the set designer is another big part of the production team. Obviously, the entire set is a big piece of visual art, right? It's like a huge painting that reflects, again, the artistic vision of the director. It provides the practical setting so that the actors have entrances and exits so that they have places to go. It usually gives them some islands so that they can play cat and mouse games and chase each other around, and so that the director can manipulate the focus of the audience. But again, also it is a huge provider of convention to help strengthen the matrix of the director. A property master, which is a prop designer who decides on the practical considerations and the artistic considerations of all the properties that are used. And in Festin, for example, there's a lot of props on stage because we eat several meals. There's a lot of drinking that goes on. So this can be a very complicated task practically. And when done well, again, a lot of thought is also put into theatricalism and convention. And how do these props reflect the themes, motifs, and the symbols through the matrix of the director? Okay, so we have costumes, lighting, props. We also have sound. So whether the sound is just ambient, whether there's underscoring music in the show, or whether there are sound effects in the show. There are, again, practical considerations and artistic considerations, which all must be funneled through, once again, that matrix of the director, so as to strengthen the themes, the motifs, and the symbols of the playwright as seen by the director. There is also a member of the production team called the dramaturg, who is basically like the academic of the production team. And their job is to research the world of the play, where the play is set ethnically, culturally, religiously, sociopolitically, historically, and to give as much information as possible to the actors, to the designers, and to the director to help them make artistic decisions that are influenced by the historical record of the period in which the play is set. Also, they will research the history of the play, its production history, and what choices have been made in the past, so that, again, they're making as informed decisions as they can possibly make. When you go back to answer that discussion board, I want you to think about what you might do as a director in terms of the set, in terms of the costumes, in terms of the lights, in terms of the props, dramaturgically, how you would help to create the vision of August Wilson.